Hey there, my name is Cole Adams, and you are watching the best college basketball podcast out there that covers the entire sport of college basketball, brackets, bubbles, and bid stealers. Now, here are your hosts, Sam Fetterman and Jonathan Lidskin.
Right. So it's 68 of brackets, bubbles, and bid stealers. I am Sam Fetterman. That is Jonathan Lidskin. Jonathan, how are you doing tonight?
A lot better now. That was a great surprise to start the show. I didn't know about that. Did you have to pay him for that?
No.
We got Cole doing cameos for brackets, bubbles, and bid stealers for free. What a legend.
Nick Lawrenson is here with us because today is mid-major Thursday.
Bulls a sip.
Let me get that off. Nick, how are you?
I'm good. Been watching basketball all night. Can't complain. Cole's a simp though.
We have some champions to celebrate tonight. We have champions to celebrate in mid-major conferences. So we will be celebrating those champions, Jonathan. We will start in the CAA, where Towson takes home the CAA regular season title. A 53-23, I think it was 53-23 second half explosion against William and Mary inside a packed TU arena, biggest crowd they've had in years. And the team showed up for it. Pat Scarry is a CAA champion. I think for me, this is the team that epitomizes returning to, the importance of returning a young core more so than any other program on the East Coast. Tyler Tejada, Dylan Williamson, Christian May. Those three guys were underclassmen last year. Williamson and Tejada are still underclassmen. May now a junior. Those three are the key pieces for this team. Obviously, you get key production from a bunch of other sources, but those are the three that drive this basketball team. Tonight it was Williamson. He had a whole bunch of shots, was the Ken Pom MVP. But I think that those three guys, May, Tejada, Williamson, what Nenda Tark does as well, and then Tomiwa Suleiman on the defensive side of the ball gives you so much. And then another underclassman that they were able to retain, and Mekhi Lowry off the bench, gives them a ton defensively. They lost Charles Thompson last year. I think they did a really good job building this team around Thompson with young guys last year and with young guys that are ready to take the leap this year and become CAA champions. Now 15-2 in the league, have a chance to go to 16-2. They have won, 16 of their last 18 games.
Yeah, it was an awesome night in general at TU Arena. It was the biggest crowd they've ever had there. There were lines going all the way out into the parking lot there tonight. I grew up 20 minutes away. All my best buddies went to Towson. And I had people texting me tonight and the days leading up like, yeah, I'm going to this game. The buzz is getting around town, which is awesome to see because we've seen Pat Scarry build this up the last couple of years. They've been consistently a 21 team. He came in and they were one of the worst. They were the worst program in college basketball. I can't even say one of the worst. They were the worst. They lost 40-some straight games when he came in. His first year, they only won one game, and it was a miracle that they won that one game. But it was an awesome night. The first half, they really struggled. They were taking a lot of ill-advised shots. That press that William Mary really puts on them was making them take quick shots, and it wasn't going all too well. They were down double digits, 8 points most of the first half, and then they just caught fire. They went on a 21-0 run. They were down, I believe, 18 at a time, and they came all the way back, take a 20-point lead on a very, very good Tribe team. Sam mentioned that defense is great. They have a lot of depth. Nenda Tark's coming off the bench now, so he packs a little punch there. I'm just so happy for Pat Scarry and all of Towson. They've been waiting a long time. Baltimore County's been waiting a long time. Grew up in Baltimore County. All my teachers growing up were all Towson grads. My sister's going to Towson. She told me that a week ago. So I'm a Towson fan forever now, regardless of who the head coach is. But This is their second CAA title in the last 4 years. They split it a couple years ago. Haven't made the NCAA tournament since 1991, 1992 is the early 90s, and they have legitimate chance. Jimmy Patsos had a great line towards the end of the game. He's like, with that Sorber injury to Georgetown, you could really say that Towson is the second best team in the DMV right now behind Maryland.
Yeah, you could absolutely say that. I'm just trying to think who else could
Probably
have
wouldn't
possibly
put them
made.
over Georgetown, but without Sorber, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, Americans
Oh,
up there.
no,
but
George Mason.
George Mason. Well, he might have said mid majors then. So if mid majors, George Mason, and then Towson.
Yeah.
I could still potentially put him third above Georgetown.
Jonathan, what are your takeaways from Towson winning CAA tonight with a win 88-71 over William and Mary?
Yeah, getting healthy for this team was obviously the most important thing for them this season. They, had dealt with some injuries early on, started the season 4-8, but were able to turn it around here. And like Nick said, Pat Scarry's done an incredible job. This is a team that I think they're probably going to be underseeded if they win the CAA tournament because of how they were in non-con. They're much better than like a 14 seed. I think they're probably closer to the upper echelon of 13 seeds and 12 seeds than a 14. But if you draw them in the NCAA tournament, they play slow, they don't turn the ball over, and they offensive rebound. That's like three things that are really crucial if you want to pull an upset in the NCAA tournament. Just playing really solid basketball and limiting the possessions of a team with more talent than you.
Yeah,
and they have multiple guys. Yeah, and they have multiple guys that can go out there and get you a bucket in a big spot. Obviously, Williamson has been so great from beyond the arc, and Tejada is just a tremendous all-around scorer. So those two guys, and Tark when he's on as well, can be really, really effective for them. He has some big games and some small games. He didn't really give them much tonight, but I mean, look, when you can go out there and a guy who is as talented as Tark can go 1 for 10 from the field, and you can beat a good team by 15. That's really impressive. I think. As for the William and Mary side of this, I still think that they've struggled to find an identity without Noah Collier. Obviously, what this team's identity is. But Collier was crucial to everything that they were doing. He was playing a lot of minutes for what this system is, and losing him, I feel, really hurt this team's chances at winning a CAA title.
Yeah, it puts a lot on Gabe Dorsey's back too. He had a really good first half. He went 4 for 4 from 3, and that's why they had such a controlling first half. In the second half, he only went 1 for 3. So it sucks because now they really got to lean on him, and they don't have Collier to really divvy away all the pressure on him.
Jonathan, any other takeaways from the William and Mary and Towson matchup tonight?
Brian Earl's a really good coach, and he's going to do really well here. Unfortunate that Collier went down with that injury because they were kind of humming mid-season. But this is again. I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but this again should be a really good conference tournament, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
If you put a gun to my head right now, and I don't know what the bracket's going to look like, but if you put a gun to my head right now, my pick would be UNC Wilmington.
I was talking about that with you earlier, Sam, and I fully agree. I mean, Harlan Obiola has been such a difference maker. He's played really good basketball this last month. He's a double threat every time out. UNCW has had some good big men over the last couple of years, but I really think that he's been the best, and they're so experienced. They have depth. that defense that Takeo Siddle's always run has been really good. They're smoking teams. Their offense has been awesome too this year. It's really, this might be the year, and we might have a collision course here where it's Towson and UNCW in the title game. Obviously, UNCW has been to the NCAA tournament the last 10 years, but they haven't done it over Takeo. They haven't done it with Takeo Siddle. With Siddle and Scary, just two guys who have been longing for an NCAA tournament bid, who have had great teams over the last 5 years.
That would be, I think that would be a tremendous final. Two really fun basketball teams that are looking to kind of make that breakthrough. And Siddle's a guy who has won a ton of basketball games, 15-3, 12-6, 12-6, 13-4 now. He's won 20 plus games in each of the last 4 seasons. Just the only year that he didn't was his first season as a head coach in 2021. This is his highest ranked team on KenPom yet. They are really good offensively, and he's always been a strong defensive coach as well that they can really lock down when they need to. They have rim protection. They have a bunch of different guys that can go out there and guard a lot of different guys. I think that UNCW, Sean Moore has been a seamless fit. Donovan Newby has taken another step forward this year. He's been excellent. Everything that they get from this team, I think UNC Wilmington is built for a conference tournament run this year. And I like Towson as well. I like what Elon does with their zone on the defensive side of the ball. It can be kind of unique, but teams have kind of started to figure it out a little bit. They started 5-2, now they're 8-9. So some struggles in that department. Monmouth got that win tonight. Monmouth's been playing really well. They were 3-5. Now they're 10-7, 7-2, with the only losses coming against Towson in the last 9. You know, that's a team that can hit a ton of outside shots with Abdi Bashir and Madison Durr as a true point guard for them. Jarrett Valencia has kind of been up and down throughout the year, but if they can get the best version of Jarrett Valencia in the CAA tournament, along with everything that they do get from Abdi Bashir and Madison Durr, who knows how deep of a run they could make. King Rice had a couple really, really good teams in the MAC with Monmouth. This is the 3rd league that he's coached Monmouth in. He started in the NEC, then the MAC, now in the CAA. He's never made the NCAA tournament as a head coach. I don't know if this is going to be the year that changes that, and I don't know if it will change, but King Rice has had some really good teams, and I think this team is hitting its stride at a really good time right now. And then Drexel's now won 3 in a row. Charleston picked up a win against Delaware tonight. That was Chris Mack's 300th win. I think they're as talented as anyone in this league. Campbell, without Jason Sinani, is really struggling. They've dropped 4 out of 6 since he went down. The first game that he went down was they squeaked past UNC, squeaked past a 6-man rotation of NC-A&T at home. So basically 5 losses out of 6, even though they did get that win against A&T. It was that's a game that you should be winning by 15 or 20 if you're a CAA contender. But the Sinani injury kind of took their season down, in my opinion. But the CAA tournament should be really fun.
Yeah, I was on the fence of going to that next Sunday, or I told my buddy on the UNT staff that I was going to see him at Temple. You're kind of pushing me towards that CAA tournament, taking the drive down to DC and just seeing the 4 quarterfinals there on Sunday. I also just saw Kelly Lupepe on my TV, kind of just popped out on senior night, and that was like a jump scare. I wasn't expecting to see him in his long hair on my TV. The Loyola is up on St. Mary's right now, by the way, but it's really early.
Hey. Jonathan's supposed to guess the St. Mary's score.
It's not. If it's really early, it's not time yet.
Okay. We'll do it later in the game. All right. Next league. Next champion to celebrate out of the NEC, the Central Connecticut State Blue Devils. Not sure how much of this league either of you guys watch. I probably watch more than you guys do of the NEC, but Central Connecticut 13-2, make it 11 wins in a row, the nation's second longest winning streak, behind only Yale. Yale can actually improve that winning streak to 14 this weekend. That's at 12 right now, but they have to go at Dartmouth, at Harvard. But Central Connecticut tonight, 84-75 win at home against Lemoyne. They were down double digits late in the first half of this game, but they have a whole bunch of guys that can come through. Jordan Jones and Devin Hade are the two that are going to get the big conference honors. But I think the key for this team has been Abdul Momo developing throughout the year. He's grown so much from what he was last year. I think even 2 years ago, he had a better year than he did last year, I would say. This year blows that one out for me, for Momo. He has been so dominant as a post defender, and it's really helped Jaden Brown make a much different type of impact than he did last year. He's been able to space the floor a lot more. It creates a ton of mismatches. There's nobody else in this league that has the athleticism in the front court that Central Connecticut does. And then you combine that with a very, very smart, heady player in Devin Hade, who is really, really good getting to the basket, really good finishing around the rim in so many different ways. Just really smart player. And then Jordan Jones, who's one of the best point guards in the conference as well, came in as the preseason player of the year. Maybe hasn't quite been the player of the year in the NEC, but that's probably because of how good some of the other guys on the Central Connecticut team have been. They put on a huge second half, scoring 47 points tonight. They are 13-2, 22-6, 172 in KenPom, which is higher than any team in the MAC, in the NEC, in the Patriot League, and higher than all but one in America East. I saw a tweet from Kevin Sweeney about that today. The NEC is not a league where you typically get teams like that. This is the best NEC team for my money since that Wagner team with Alex Morales, Raekwon Rogers, before Boogie Ford went down in that game against LIU in February, when they were 17-2 before they lost to Merrimack, and that was kind of when the Ford injury caught up to them, and they got blown out in the NEC final by Bryant. But when they were fully healthy, I think that was the best team in that NEC by a good margin. This is the best NEC team since that healthy Wagner team, and that was the best team in the NEC since probably one of the LIU or Robert Morris teams in the early 2010s.
Yeah. Jimmy Ferry had some good teams. They have a great defense. I mean, top 90. I mean, Merrimack's was great when they were in the NEC with that zone, but they're 87th in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency. That's absolutely insane. But whenever I think of the Central Connecticut State team, I'm not trying to take any shots. I think of how they beat St. Joe's in the first week of the season and how demoralizing that was for that program. But when you look at it, it's honestly not that bad of a loss. They should be beating those teams. Yes, they should be beating those teams. But like Sam mentioned, this is a different level NEC team. NEC's usually a shoo-in to get a team in Dayton. There's a chance if the cookies crumble the right way, CCSU could be like a 14 seed in the NCAA tournament, which is just really good for a league that's kind of been struggling. They have quite a couple teams that are still transitioning to D1. So you have like Lemoyne, Sam's new hometown team, who can't even make the NCAA tournament, who's playing in the conference tournament. They're just doing that so they can fill in the 8 spots in the conference tournament, which I don't understand. Why can't Mercyhurst play in it?
They waived the restriction for Lemoyne last year. They did not waive the restriction for Mercyhurst when they were invited this year. Don't ask me why. I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. I I was doing clinching scenarios. I didn't even realize Lemoyne was able to be in it. I know that they were in it last year because Sam was he was really pushing to try to see if, or he had no say in it, but he wanted them to get a top 4 seed so they could host a tournament game. But yeah, I mean,
And they
that
did.
defense they did. That defense from Central Connecticut State's just up there. And I really don't think, I know LIU's having a good season. I don't think there's anyone even close to the league. Terrence Brown's going to be great. He's going to probably score 30, 40 points in a conference tournament game, and everyone's going to be talking about him because everyone's going to have their eyes on NEC front row for the quarterfinals. But
semifinals are on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, look at that. No one can really hold Central Connecticut in this league.
Central is, if you ask me what conference tournament I'm the most confident in, it would be the NEC. This is a team motivated after after getting eliminated last year. This is a team that is clearly and by far the best team in this league, and it's a team that is going to have the entire conference tournament running through its own gym for the second straight year. If you want to win the NEC, you better be prepared to win at Dietrich in hard-hitting New Britain, Connecticut.
Hell yeah.
Back-to-back NEC regular season titles for Pat Sellers. This is a program, Nick and Jonathan, I don't know how much you're familiar with Central basketball, but they were bad for a while. Like really, really
Not even
bad.
half a decade ago, they were finishing in the bottom, 20 in KenPom routinely.
And not even making the conference tournament.
Yeah, even the last couple, like Howie Dickenman did an awesome job at Central, but the last couple years of Howie Dickenman were really not good. Then they made that awful hire with Danielle Marshall, and it took Sellers 2 years to climb out of that. But last year, the breakthrough 13-3. This year, they are a win away from 14-2, and this is a special team for this league.
Yeah, he's alum too, Patrick Sellers. So that's always a beautiful story when someone can come back to their alma mater and really do a great job. Hopefully, lead them to the NCAA tournament.
I mean, I don't really even feel like it's worth talking about the rest of the NEC. I think Central's that good, but I will shout out Mercyhurst, 9-7 in the NEC this year. Beat Chicago State by 22 tonight. Jeff Planutis had 32 on 10 threes. He capped off a strong season. Really good year for Mercyhurst to go 9-7 in the NEC. First year in Division I, starting a whole bunch of seniors that won't be there next year, which will make it difficult. Lemoyne learned the hard way. Stonehill learned the hard way. Merrimack kind of breezed through that phase. I mean, that kind of shows you something about what Merrimack has been. But Planutis, Aiden Reichert, Bernie Blunt, and Shamara Tan Mays, 4 seniors that started for this team throughout the year, and their contributions to Mercyhurst basketball, proving that you can have a winning Division I program at Mercyhurst under Gary Manchell.
One of the longest tenured coaches in girls basketball.
Yeah, he's been there for a long time. He's won over 500 games. Coaches hate facing him. They all respect him. And you see why this year. Mercyhurst, 15-16. Really good year for a first-year Division I program. Next champion that we're going to wait, Jonathan, did you have anything to say?
No, I think you guys covered it all pretty much.
Next champion that we're going to celebrate, we're going to go to the A-Sun and we're going to talk about the Lipscomb Bisons. They took home the A-Sun regular season title last night. They clinched a share, but they will be the 1 seed, I believe, in that conference tournament.
Yeah, they are.
They took down. They hold the tiebreaker over North Alabama. They beat North Alabama just last week. Yesterday they beat Central Arkansas. We had Lenny Acuff on the podcast earlier this year. So, Jonathan, I'll kind of let you go here about the Bisons and in the A-Sun in general.
Yeah. If those of you that haven't seen Lipscomb this year, they have some dudes that can really play. I mean, they're a big time offensive team. They shoot the ball really well. You know, they're they're good on the defensive end too. But Will Pruitt and Jacob Ognisevich are a super fun watch. And this team has been dangerous all year. They flirted with beating a couple high major teams early in the year. They gave some teams some trouble. Obviously, you know, A-Sun is a very balanced league, and, you know, running through this conference was never going to be an option for them, but they have absolutely lived up to the preseason expectations. They were picked number 1 in the preseason in this league, and they have just been playing really good basketball down the stretch here. They were 6-3 in the league, finished 14-4. This is one of my favorite teams this season in mid-major basketball, and I'm excited to see what they can do in this conference tournament next week, because the A-Sun has had quite the year.
Yeah, you don't want to get me off on a tangent about the A-Sun.
North Alabama.
I'm going to go on and on. I mean, like we've been talking about Lipscomb. Jacob Ognisevich, awesome guy. Will Pruitt is Mr. Lipscomb. I don't think people realize he's been there forever. He's been the rock of that program. He's been a great guard. They've had solid teams, but this team's been ranked in the top 100 all year. There was a time where they were a quad 1 win. Queens beat them at Lipscomb. That was a quad 1 win for Queens. They're even on both sides. They're a really good team. We've mentioned North Alabama every week. Jakari Lane's awesome. Tony Poolholt is doing an amazing job. He came in first year D1. They were not even a good D2 program. And now they're winning a share of the A-Sun regular season title, and they've really got Florence and all the Muscle Shoals down there really pumping. FGCU 3 seed. I really think it's going to come down to North Alabama and Lipscomb, but I want to run through every team in the league just because I was in the league last year. I want to give it some of a shine. Keyshawn Kellman had an amazing game yesterday. He had a career high, I believe it was 25 points. He's one of the better big men in mid-major basketball that no one really talks about. He's done a great job over there. Let's see, 4th place. We finished in 4th place. EKU. EKU's red hot. EKU's red hot. The most exciting 40 minutes in college basketball is what A.W. Hamilton calls it. Press, quick offense. They lost to Bellarmine and Jacksonville, but before that, they won 8 straight, and then they beat UNF to end the regular season. And EKU is going to end up playing Jacksonville, who has Robert McCray, one of the most explosive downhill guards in the whole country. That's going to be a fun matchup, just fast pace, lots of scoring. Queens, this is their best year so far, D1, 11-7 in the A-Sun. Leo Colomario has been an awesome pickup for him. He's scoring 20-plus points darn near every single night. He's that experience, that just leader that they've needed. They run fast, dude. They could really beat anyone. The thing that stinks is their last year transitioning. So even if they win the conference tournament, they can't make it to the NCAA tournament. But G's doing a great job there. They've been really impressive. You have the 7-8 game. We have 2 games of Star Conference tournaments on Sunday. North Florida, Austin P. That's going to be a high-scoring one. You don't take my advice, whatever. High-scoring one. Austin P shoots threes. They typically play good defense. They've kind of struggled this year. And, I mean, North Florida, both these teams, by the way, they were getting AP votes in the second week of the season. They were getting AP votes in the second week of the season. And they've kind of really fallen off. But they're up and down. UNF shoots threes. They play a wacky style of defense where they're just flying in your face. And it's crazy. And then we have Stetson, who will probably beat UCA, who is young, but they're hurt. Braden Fagbemi and Lane Taylor will be a great duo in the future in the A-Sun. And if Lane Taylor returns and those two are in that backcourt, I could see that team finishing and hosting potentially a A-Sun tournament game next year. So it's going to be a great tournament.
Braden's a really good player. So I had a chance to, watch him in high school around here. Was honestly like surprised that he wasn't getting recruited by more Division Ones than he was. But yeah.
All right. Next champion to celebrate, Jonathan. Let's go to the SoCon and celebrate the Chattanooga Mocs, who have won 10 games in a row, the nation's fourth longest win streak. Went to UNC Greensboro, took care of business tonight, 75-63. They have turned it up to another level recently. Dan Earl, Ryan Earl's brother, wins the outright league title. 2 games up currently on Samford and UNCG with 1 to play. It was a great hire after Lamont Paris left. Took him a year to kind of get things going. 12-6 last year. Now 14-3, as I mentioned. Team has been humming offensively. Frank Champion's really gotten it going. I think did he get hurt tonight?
He didn't
Because
play
he only
much.
played 14 minutes.
Yeah, he must have. Off the top of my head, 7-4. I think he had.
He had 3 fouls, but yeah, I don't know.
I had that game on the TV, but it was a really brutal production, so I really wasn't. They didn't have a score bug for the first 8 minutes. Biggest game this SoCon season, and you don't have a score bug. And I hate when they play games at the Coliseum. That place is just way too big. Play on campus.
But overall, though, since Frank Champion came into that lineup and started to really break through for this team, Chattanooga's been a completely different animal. They get great production from Trey Bonham, who was at Florida a couple years ago. Ended up coming back to play for Dan Earl again. He was at VMI with Dan Earl, with Jake Stevens as well. Comes back, plays for him at Chattanooga, does really well. Bash Wieland, who was with Scott Davenport at Bellarmine, comes in and has some really, really good performances, getting better as the season goes on. Honor Huff, who has been a rock for Dan Earl over the last couple of years as well, was at VMI. He has been tremendous as of late. Champion has kind of really helped unlock another level of Huff throughout this season, while he was really, really good throughout last year as well. There were some moments this year where he was struggling a little bit more, and he's really put it together later in the season. Shot 46% in conference play from deep. Did Honor Huff this year. Really, really impressive win streak for Chattanooga. It was a SoCon that was really jumbled up. That top 6 was all really good. Chattanooga, Samford, Greensboro, ETSU, Wofford, and Furman. And Chattanooga's separated itself.
And what was really impressive?
I never said VMI was bad.
I'm saying
like,
top 7.
They're 3 games back of this group. Like,
shout out Bob Mill.
What I think was really impressive about Chattanooga was how many of these teams at the top of the conference they have went and beat on the road in this win streak. I mean, they had to go to East Tennessee State, to Wofford, to Samford, to UNC Greensboro. It's just they've played a lot of the top teams in this league away from home and have still managed to get it done.
Yeah, it's a league that we really haven't talked about.
They also beat Furman on the road earlier.
It's any given night in this league. I think last couple of years it's been a really
they're 5-0 on they're 5-0 on the road against the rest of the top 6.
That's super impressive. They have an awesome offense, Chattanooga. I mean, Sam mentioned Honor Huff, just pulls up, shoots it from range. He's great. Shockingly enough, he's not even top 5 on KenPom. You got Kamari Peterson, who's absolutely going insane for ETSU, and they're getting hot at the right time. You got to remember,
I've been a huge Kamari Peterson fan since JUCO.
Yeah, they got hot last year. They made the conference title game, and they kept fighting back, and they almost won that. You got them. You got G, who It's always up there. You got Sanford, Buckyball. Maybe not as strong as last year, but they're still awesome, and they play that great style of offense. Wofford, very experienced. That's another group. We mentioned Towson earlier. Wofford's really kept their guys around for a couple of years. No one transferred out. A lot of continuity there. Furman can always beat anyone. PJ Smith is still there. Bob Ritchie's still the head coach. I mentioned VMI. VMI's had probably the greatest season they've had in a very, very long time, at least since Duggar Balcom was their head coach. I think Andrew Wilson, they're 7th place. They're 7-11. That's one of the that is probably the toughest job in the country. Top 5. He should win Coach of the Year in the league. Mercer, even Sleepy at that 8th spot. It's a great league. It's a great league that I don't talk enough about, but so much talent, and I think it's going to be an absolutely wild conference tournament.
Jonathan, anything on the SoCon?
No, actually, I don't think I have anything else. Again, another conference tournament that's always seems to be good. There's some really good programs in this league overall.
Next champion that we need to celebrate tonight comes from the Horizon League. 5 years ago, they were in the NEC. Now they're in the Horizon League, and now they're Horizon League champions at 23-8, 15-5 in the conference. They have won 13 of their last 14 games. That is, of course, the Robert Morris Colonials.
Yeah,
defeated IU India 82-68 tonight. Josh Oma-Jaffo had 27-7. Cam Woods had 21-11. And it's also everything from everything they get from Woods and Oma-Jaffo on the wing. The front court of Amarian Dickerson and Alvaro Fulgaris makes this team go as well. I think that's a really, really good core 4 guys. DJ Smith does a good job in the backcourt as well. But that core 4 has really pushed this team to where they are right now.
Yeah, Fulgaris got a little banged up tonight, which is good that they have a week off. Robert Morris is a week off. They already finished the regular season. But they've been horrible since they've been in the Horizon League, and it looked like they were going towards another horrible year where Andy Toole was on the hot seat. They started 2-4 in league play. And then they won all but one game. Then the year, what was that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 13.
No, at Wright State by 2 points.
Yeah. Who I think's a sleepy team in this league. Who I also think's a sleepy team in this league, and people are going to give me a hard time about, is the Green Bay Phoenix. They've been playing really good basketball. I don't care what anyone has to say about Doug Gottlieb. They've been playing great basketball.
You should talk with Michael DeRosa.
You really should.
Former IU PUI player?
Yeah.
Why's that?
No, that's DePersia. That's DePersia.
Mike
DeRosa. Mike DePersia, Lemoyne legend.
Yeah, that's right.
He's the director of operations at Lemoyne. Anyway, shout out Doug Gottlieb. Your team has won 2 of its last 4 games, which for the bar that you set for yourself over the first 26 games of your coaching career is unbelievable success.
Watch out.
Hey, you got to give credit where credit's due, right? We don't.
It's going to suck. They'll probably have to play Oakland in the first round at the Arena. So
They play them on Saturday, don't they?
What's that?
They play them on Saturday too.
Yeah.
Fun.
They've won 2 conference games, which at one point during this year is 2 more than I thought they were going to win. So,
at
congrats.
one point, a couple hours ago, it's 1 more than I thought they were going to win.
They were favored tonight. Those guys,
but they were also favored against Michigan Tech.
Huh?
They were also favored against Michigan Tech.
It's a good Michigan Tech team.
I never said it wasn't. Again, you're putting words in my mouth. First, you have me saying that that VMI is bad.
No, you
Then
said
you
the
have me
top
saying that
six really good. I wanted
Then
to
you have
say
me
the
saying
top eight
Michigan
was
Tech's really bad. No, of course not. Michigan Tech's 21-6.
D2 basketball. Good stuff.
Great stuff.
John Kerkorian was at LaSalle last night. That was pretty cool to see him.
Why?
He played, or he didn't play, but he went to Penn.
Was he?
He was on the GV team.
I didn't know
And then
this.
he
I
was
didn't
a
know
student
that.
assistant his senior year. They don't. I looked it up. I think they play Fridays, so tonight against UC Santa Cruz in their conference tournament. John Kerkorian, if you don't know, he is a great
The head
D3
coach of
coach. Christopher Newport. They're consistently churning out 25, 31 seasons. He kind of gets slighted sometimes because he is very, very short and bald.
Kerkorian?
Yeah.
How tall is Kerkorian?
I would say 5'3".
What?
That's a guess.
Are you serious?
He was standing next to Fran O'Hanlon, and Franio towered over him. So, but Franio was a good basketball player and a very good coach, so he was tall. Villanova legend.
Look. 5'3"?
Yeah.
I'm gonna need someone to verify this.
Get someone to the coast to coast D3 basketball tournament here tonight. Figure it out.
I bet Sage could figure that out.
I bet Sage probably knows. Sage loves his D3 basketball. He went a whole rant about Middlebury the other night. And then it got him to Pomona College.
I was listening to it. It was quite the segment.
It was. I was very intrigued. I liked it. I wanted him to talk about Tarleton State, which might be opening. And who knows who's going to get that job, because they should have opened it last year and it should have been the interim head coach. But now they screwed themselves. So who knows what's going to happen down there at Tarleton State in Stephenville, Texas.
UC San Diego won, right? Yeah, they won by 4.
Yes, they did. They won by 6, I want to say.
Good.
UC Irvine won 2. They dominated.
St. Mary's 5 at the half, but has only given up 19 points. That checks out.
Yeah, Loyola went on about a 8-minute scoring drought, 6 to 8 minute scoring drought, I want to say.
When St. Mary's decides to not scoring.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. His thing forever has been that he's short. That was the first time I've ever seen him in person, and I should have went over and shook his hand. Sorry, John Kerkorian. But
last champion that we got to celebrate tonight, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is the league I think I watched the absolute least of this year again. The OVC. And its champion is SEMO at 15-4, coached by Brad Korn. They've won 10 games in a row. Jonathan, I'll let you go here because this is sort of close to you.
Yeah, I mean, when I was, when I was at school, it was 3 hours from me, about, I'd say, down in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. They've had a really good season. I mean, Brad Korn continues to do a very good job there. People have been raving about him over the last couple of years. Obviously, last year wasn't so great, but they're a new D1 program still finding their footing, and now they have won the league in the OVC. This is the OVC, for those of you that don't remember, is the first conference to crown a conference tournament champion. It'll be that Saturday night, a week from this Saturday, I should say. But yeah, they have won 10 in a row here, tied for the 4th longest winning streak in the nation. I don't have, much on their team, but Brad Korn is building a good program, and MVC fans have thrown around that team for a future member of the league. So,
I mean, people love Cape. I've always heard people love Cape Girardeau. That's like one of the Missouri
I've driven
Yes.
through it, but never didn't stop there.
Hey, Jonathan, halftime, St. Mary's LMU. Guess the score.
You just
Oh, I know. I looked it up. It's 24-19 St. Mary's.
Rob Martin's a
Good
baller.
halftime score.
Yeah, no, SEMO has had some dudes over the last couple of years. Philip
Shout
Russell,
out Philip Russell.
who is a
U-
monster on
UT
offense.
Arlington legend Philip Russell.
Yeah,
UT Arlington legend.
I didn't know that he started as a walk-on at St. Louis. Did you know that?
I found that out like the other day.
Sage says 3'9".
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He then said probably 5'5".
See that? I mean, Martin had 30.
That sounds more believable than 5'3".
2 inches. Rob Martin had 31 points tonight. He's been really the key to that SEMO team. We should probably have I mean, I think it's low key a really competitive league. They've had the top 8 up there for a while. Western Illinois has won 2 straight. They're not even in the conference tournament. They won the regular season last year. They were picked towards the top. Marco Maltic hit a really big 3 on Tuesday night. They ended up winning in overtime, but they aren't even in it. Little Rock's still a really good team. I was really high on them in the offseason. Really didn't live up to that, but they still finished 18-12. I love watching SIUE. I don't know why, but I always find myself watching SIUE on Thursday nights. Brian Baroni has a really, really solid bunch. Rayshawn Taylor's still there. Brian Taylor's still there. Great backcourt with those two. Tennessee Tech's had an awesome year under John Pelfrey. They went 10-9. They're 500 right now. They have Lindenwood to finish off the season and try to get over 500. But they've been a solid bunch. They also have David Craig, who's 7'2", and he can't move and he barely plays. But that's an awesome piece they have on their bench. They have a 7'2" guy in the OVC. You don't get many of those. Lindenwood, I was super high on in the offseason. I could see them win a game or two. Morehead State struggling in their first year under their new coach, but they'll always be a tough out. I think this will be another really competitive conference tournament that no one really cares about, but it'll be a really competitive conference tournament.
All right. I think we're good for tonight. Nothing else to go over, Jonathan, unless you have something.
Shout out Drake,
Do
Missouri
you
Valley
want-
Conference champions.
Do you want to quickly go over some high major stuff from tonight?
No, it's okay. This is a mid-major show.
Yeah,
If you
want to
want, there's
mention
nothing
Damari
physically
Burnett.
I can do to stop you.
I do want to mention Damari Burnett, big buzzer beater tonight for Michigan, and Trey Holloman last night, big buzzer beater for Michigan State. So fun night of buzzer beaters. We'll have another show coming your way, midnight Eastern. When the clock ticks to March. This is a March show. Jonathan, slate maps tomorrow. Jonathan and I are literally going to get off this show, work on a bracketology, and it'll be ready for slate maps tomorrow. That'll go up in Rise and Shine. Slate maps every day until the end of the college basketball season. Jonathan,
If you
wanna take
came
us
to
home?
hear about Tyler Self and where he works, you came to the right place. If you came to hear about 5'3" college basketball players, you came to the right place. And if you came to hear about the latest happenings with Caleb Grill, you came to the right place. This has been Season 5, Episode 68 of Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers. We'll see you tomorrow night.